Hello everybody and welcome to my first video of Kerbal Space Program. Today we're going to be launching our first rocket named Magellan 1, and it is the first spacecraft of Kerbal Space Program. It's partially based off of Sputnik, and it will remain in space after it's launched. In this series, I'm playing Kerbal Space Program as the Kerbals would if they ever existed. For example, they have the first launch in space, they start developing missiles, they start doing test flights, and then they launch the first person into space. And then fast forward a few years into the future, in human time, like maybe in Kerbal time it's 30 years or maybe 40 years. And then they send the first person to the moon, and then fast forward 100 Kerbal years and they have interplanetary spacecraft. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. But I'm basically doing a playthrough of what Kerbals might do in Sandbox mode. So this is the rocket. It's relatively simple. There is a launch stability enhancer so that the rocket doesn't tip over when it's put on the launch pad. There is also the main part of the rocket, which is the part that's going to stay in space, and this is the part with the battery, the solar panels. There are also communitrons, 4 of them, to maintain communications with the space agency. And lastly, but not least, there is the Probodomodine Stay Putnik. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, because I don't really know how to pronounce that. And after that, there's only one stage, because the Kerbals haven't developed enough technology to know that there's going to be 3 stages or more in each rocket. So I made one stage. Here's the monopropellant for these RCS thruster blocks, and there are 4 flags. One is the current Kerbal Space Program flag. It's like this because the Kerbals haven't made another flag change yet, because the Kerbals haven't started their space agency for very long. So why would they need a flag change? We might change it in the future to a more retro style, possibly. And here's a Probodomodine flag, and then there's the Jeb's Junkyard and rocket parts, and Strutco, which is currently mass producing struts for future use. Now let's launch the rocket. It's gonna take a little time to load. Apparently it's still loading. Okay, it's about to finish loading. And here we are. This is the launch pad. Before we start, I'm gonna check if everything is okay. Beep frequency, no, settings should be resetted. And we'll close this. It looks pretty nice, right? We're gonna engage RCS, never mind. Let's just engage that after launch. So, we're gonna set the throttle to full and launch. Unfortunately, there's no SAS aboard, so I'll need to control it myself. Let's start the gravity turn. Whoops. this is not going as planned. Unlike real life, we always have the revert button at our disposal. So, let's restart. Actually, I think there's one big problem. There's no wings. So let's go back to the vehicle assembly right now and add a few wings to help. I mean the vehicle assembly, not the. Okay, so we're back here with all the Kerbal engineers scattered around. And let's add. Whoops, this is too big. Way too big. Alright, so this seems to fit. And I'm gonna put it over here. Let's launch it again. Hopefully, this time I won't fail again. Alright, 3. Before we do that, I'm going to increase the throttle 2/3 instead of full this time. And let's begin. Whoops. Bad idea. I am not very sure if this thing is gonna go to space or not. I'm seeing that the launch stability enhancer is hitting the fin, so it's gonna tip over the rocket. Let's try again. Let's see. It's tipping. Okay, this time it's doing better than the last time. Liquid fuel is running out pretty fast. Uh-oh. This is a little hard to keep stable. We still have approximately 1,400 meters per second left. That's probably going to be enough to get us to space. Unfortunately, this is probably only going to get us to a suborbital flight because of the inclination of the gravity turn and the amount of liquid fuel we have left. But we'll keep going for as long as we possibly can, and hopefully at least get a suborbital flight. There is apparently a little overheat, so I'm lowering the throttle. Since this is almost overheating, I have lowered the throttle to 1/3, as you can see, and hopefully this does make a change. And the liquid fuel has burned out. Let's eject it. And that was a bad idea. And I forgot to quick save. I just ejected the lower stage to hopefully let it have okay, so I think that worked. It's not overheating too much. And it's flying just over where we started. So since we're flying now, let's open up the communitrons one by one. Extend. Whoops, antenna broken by aero forces. So that didn't work very well. The original plan was to get it to orbit, but that didn't work, and we don't have a parachute, so this one also doesn't work. Let's check the last one, just in case it works. And this one doesn't work. None of them work. As you can see, we are slowly but steadily flying down to the ocean. Technically, it's not flying. It's more of a free falling. And we don't have a parachute, so that wasn't on the plan. But the good side is that we got some good views of Kerbin's atmosphere, and we also found a way to get this to a suborbital flight. Technically, it's not a suborbital flight because we didn't totally reach space yet, but we got it on a curve, so let's consider that a suborbital flight. Now it's slowing down because of aero forces, and hopefully it can slow it down enough so that we can recover this piece of the vessel. And in the background we can see the Mun, the first moon of Kerbin. Its downward speed is around 180 meters per second and steadily decreasing. We don't know if this will survive the impact. Hopefully it will. We are almost at the surface. We are only 4,000 feet above the surface and falling at around 100 meters per second. I mean, it's not feet above the surface, it's meters above the surface. 3,000 now. 2,000 now. Let's get a few good views before it plummets down. It's at 800 meters and steadily decreasing. We can now see the shadow of it on the surface of the water. And impact. Unfortunately, the vessel has been destroyed and it is not recoverable, but we have gotten some information about Kerbin and how to get to space at this point. So this mission was a successful but catastrophic failure. As you can see, the outcome is catastrophic failure, and it splashed down hard, so it was destroyed. The total mission time was 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and the highest altitude achieved was 33,778 meters, around 34,000 meters. Unfortunately, we didn't reach the edge of space. In fact, we weren't at the edge of space yet. We needed to go around 30,000 meters before we could get to the edge of space, and this was the highest speed achieved, almost 2,000 meters per second. Highest speed above land, around the same. Highest speed over land, a little bit slower. Ground distance covered, 360,000 meters, that's around 360 kilometers. Total distance traveled is 393 kilometers, and the most G-force endured was a painful 14.7 Gs. Since we have finished this mission, we aren't going to revert. And although it's destroyed, we have gotten some important facts. If we revert, then realistically, all those facts would also be reverted. So, this mission was a successful failure. Just like Apollo 13, but way more catastrophic, and it's the first flight. So, yeah. Let's go back to the Space Center. The Space Center is currently loading. And there is a piece of debris. And let's recover that piece of debris. And that's recovered. We're back at the Space Center. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell icon for notifications too. Bye.